Tim Houston, since becoming Premier in 2021, has been fond of repeating the phrase, with great power comes great responsibility. And really, in the last week or two, we have seen how the Premier intends to use his great power in this second mandate.
Especially in this chamber, where yesterday his government House Leader, Brendan Maguire, made a number of changes, or proposed a number of changes to the way this House will run, which will limit the ability of the 12 members who sit in opposition to be able to gum up the works, slow down the passage of bills, and properly debate what's on the floor of this House.
And that's not the only place they've done that. The government has used its majority on several legislative committees to limit the amount of time opposition members have to ask questions. They've reduced it for the Liberals. They've increased it to their benefit. And for people who watch committees, why that's significant is because when government witnesses appear, usually the most pointed, constructive questions come from opposition members.
Tougher questions.
More questions from the government generally is going to mean fewer difficult questions for government witnesses.
And speaking of questions, one of the things that this government has decided it will not be doing is answering questions from reporters within the confines of Province House during this sitting and perhaps further sittings, something I have never seen in the 30 years that I've been here. Instead of taking reporters' questions on the fly just outside the chamber, we're being invited to go to one government to where there is a controlled environment, and they'll take our questions there. Why should you care? Well, because when we're over there, we're not here. And as we saw yesterday with a fire hose of announcements, all of them unanticipated, or most of them unanticipated. We can't be in two places at once.
And perhaps one of the most notable changes that the government announced yesterday is its plan to pass legislation to give itself the power to fire the Auditor General without cause. The legislation before the House says that with a 2/3 majority, which by the way the PCs have by a country mile, they can fire the Auditor General whenever they want, for whatever reason or no reason. They're also giving themselves the power to make Auditor General reports confidential and hidden from the public, either in their entirety or partly. And all of this, regardless of the reasons that the government presents for each of these changes, adds up to create the appearance of a government that is looking to reduce the amount of scrutiny it faces, to reduce the amount of accountability it's subject to, and to find ways to silence or reduce its critics.
At a time when we've had the greatest number of government members in this House ever.